Welcome back. Before getting into episode 2, let's have another mini tutorial tied to Murray to see what he's capable of doing that we haven't seen yet. Regiment now. There we go.
Time to brush up on your power moves. The first one is throwing stuff.
But what I don't want.
It's a bit imperative.
Just get close and hit the circle button. To throw, just face your target and press
What's the circle button? Seriously, why is it we always
We're
talk
free
about
games.
something
We're free.
when they're in the game world?
We're 3 games in, Waves. It's a bit late to start questioning this.
I mean, at this point, they seem to be well enough aware. Like, even Sly pretty much knew the standard.
So I might be, the guy that knows but he's just feigning ignorance.
nice
I
job.
guess.
You can also pick up guards when they're knocked down.
Well, let's look at it this way at least. Oh,
I knocked the small guys out with one punch.
One punch!
Man.
Flashlight guards. They're pretty tough. Sneak up behind this guy.
eh.
Sucker punch him while he's not looking.
One Punch Man is done.
Pick him up
Like
and
two,
Get it?
two,
Sucker punch.
two punches man is where it's at.
Also, Waves, as I mentioned in our actual commentary, apparently Sucker Punch is an actual term,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, it
I
is.
get the idea they still wanted to be a bit cheeky, but still. But yeah, here's how we introduced it. Now this game expands a bit of the ability of Murray, the fact that you can, actually catch an enemy in midair while you press the triangle button in order to potentially do something similar to Sly Stealth Takedown with Murray. So, well, the other characters, it feels as if for the main trio they went on a more, equalizing level, because now all of them are more suited for combat, but in contrast, both Bentley and Murray are also suited a bit more for stealth than before.
Mm-hmm.
well done. Okay, what's different about
Okay, here's the introduction for instead a new thing. Murray can also pickpocket stuff, but he's not very discreet about it.
Well, yeah.
He may not have the agility or technology to pick his pocket, but you can use your strength.
Yeah, basically when Murray is grabbing an enemy, you can just press, the circle button to gently shake it until it drops all the money that it has.
Circle button to shake
Beautiful.
the coins he has and collect the goods. Keep at it until he's empty.
The Murray will give this high roller a shakedown he'll never forget.
Alright, let's give it a try. Oops. Yeah, maybe you actually need to do the first the takedown then.
And, try and be sneaky.
There we go.
There you go.
Poor bastard. And then you can just toss him,
Lovely.
like so. Game? Okay. Needed to load.
Grab is one of your most powerful moves. You ready?
Imagine that, yeah, the awkward.
The awkward
Hey, I'm gonna
silence.
start. Yeah.
Into the air with your
So do you want to start or should I?
grab them before they hit the ground by pressing the circle button.
Okay. Let me see if I've got it. Hit them with my triangle button.
Yeah, I already went a bit ahead from one of Hugh's moves, but yeah, in case you don't know, they actually teach you here.
My triangle uppercut by pressing circle. There's a contradiction there.
No, it's first the triangle button, uppercut, and then circle.
Press circle and do a circle jerk.
Bring on the
And to
pain.
get through tight spaces, press the circle button to slide.
But look at it this way. It's still better than considering it's still the same platform. They were able to keep the same. Like since the face buttons are still the same, they were able to keep the voice clips as they were. Whereas in the recent release of Super Mario Sunshine, because the Switch controller is a bit different, they had to alter the tutorial voice clips with just button rather than just A button or B button.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent work.
To jump, press button.
That's actually what Flood says. Actually, yeah.
Just jump and press the square button to break this ground plate a few times.
There you go. The ground pound is something that Murray could do in the previous game, but now it has been slightly buffed in a sense that it covers a slightly bigger area. There we go. And now you can actually use it to break some objects that will be important for the story.
You're ready to take on the world.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the training. So let's move instead to the proper episodes.
Head outside and crack some skulls.
There we go. Much like it was hinted, it's time to go to Australia. Well, not before the team actually gets some relaxed time.
At first, it seemed
Also,
as
Peter
though
McCollin loves some 8-bit music.
was back in action. But little by little, we learned that Murray's heart just wasn't in it. Without the Guru's permission to give up on his Dreamtime training, he'd never really feel comfortable returning to the gang. We knew we needed to help him out.
So, might as well.
So he left again.
No, all of them will go with interesting disguises to Australia.
Oh my god.
Along the way, Murray told us story after story about his teacher's
Also,
amazing
First Strikes Back reference.
Yes.
Okay.
full of fantastic
Is Australia really that dangerous?
perfectly into his
Oh yes.
Like the Dagobah
Yes, it is.
system. But yeah, here's the problem. Yeah, the Guru, the Australian, obviously, koala, is capable of some mind trickery thanks to the power of his magical moonstone. Which I think might become an advantage towards, expanding the gang.
This outback mystic was looking like the best.
I mean, ever since the first game it showed, also with the Finnish 5, that having a mystic in your team might be useful. The problem is that we're having another PSA episode, because it's time to, shoo away some miners who were just doing their fucking job, but are destroying the outback. Sly Cooper and the gang in
Don't pollute the planet.
Rumble Down Under. Might.
Listen, they don't care if you're just doing your job. If you're in the way of the protagonist, you're going to get steamrolled. So,
It's all for the greater good.
The greater good.
They were in Sly's way, goddammit.
In terms of hub world, this is probably one of the more, not necessarily tedious but of the game, but one that will make you remember it for the type of terrain that you have to traverse. It's not more difficult, I can tell that, but again, tedious. Clearly, there's
Guess
that.
I might as well ask. So you've already hinted to me what your favorite boss is, but what's your favorite hub world?
Oh, in terms of hub for this game,
Yeah.
I'm guessing the first one, probably for bias and everything, but I kind of like how the way the team constructed Venice.
Stop looking for hope.
Mm-hmm.
Watch your step. They're sure to get rough defending their claim.
Yeah, and keep in mind that these miners are not a criminal organization. Sure, they have a bit of a bad attitude, but they're not criminals, they're not violent by nature, they only respond to provocation. And since you're instead the criminal, obviously they're not gonna like that you snoop around here.
So yeah, basically, they're just going after you for trespassing.
Nope, you're dead.
It's okay. He just knocked him out.
You only fainted.
But Bajova, he exploded like the natives in Japan.
No,
Actually, it's
We're
more
not-
like the Adam West Batman show.
Oh god. Well, actually, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
this
sure
also
the worst.
this was also to showcase the fact that Zai has a bit of an expanded moveset, but I will take more later, because now it's time to, meet the Guru.
I really appreciate you breaking the news to him that I want to break off my training.
No problem, pal. I'm looking forward to meeting him. Anybody you call master must be heck.
Well, then why don't you do it yourself?
Oh, he's awesome. He'll get inside your
Well, let's just say, Dweebs, you also made it wanted to
Oh.
join us.
Uh,
Come again?
Yes, awesome.
Yeah.
Let's just go with that.
What? Yeah.
Of course.
Nothing to see here. There we go.
Just a raccoon in Australia.
I think Australia and a possum would probably fit in more.
So, yeah, in terms of what I know about Australia,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's part of the British Commonwealth.
Ex-penal colony and all.
Yeah. Australian soap operas are pretty popular around here in Britain. In fact, more popular than in Australia itself, actually.
Huh.
Sorry, pal. This cave's empty. Got any
I guess
ideas for
because here in Britain it typically rains a whole, whereas in Australia we mostly see it as a
Hold
very
on.
sunny, nice place.
You?
The smell?
It's a long story. I had to apologize up and down for like a month.
Oh God, what did you
I
do?
really
Murray?
don't want to know the details.
Unspeakable slide.
Yes, the unspeakable.
Thanks for
Oh my God.
Yeah, let's just move from there. Go on, Wiz.
And
Oops.
at the capital city is Canberra, not Sydney or Melbourne,
Huh.
but Canberra.
Interesting. I actually didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Australian facts from a Brit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering how your country is kind of the people who created Australia, is sort of like the super prison.
That
your
and from
criminals.
what I understand, Australians don't take too kindly to being called British because, well,
Yeah.
No.
That's why.
I guess to be fair-
Instead, Dr. House joke. Who put the queen in your money? You're British.
yeah,
Hey!
yeah.
Again,
You know,
ex-penal
Hey,
colony.
Wiz.
the guy pretty much told House Fairley, "I'm Australian."
Hey Dwibs,
Oh.
hey Dwibs. It's just like how the Irish and the Scottish don't like being reminded that they're British.
Also, on that same note, at least Tarantino is actually a good mentor on that. Never, under any circumstances, call a New Zealander or a Kiwi an Aussie. Otherwise, they will fuck you up.
Oh yeah.
What did you call me, mate?
Yeah. Also,
Or
then
referring to anyone outside of England as English.
Well, that's
Alright,
exactly
yeah,
it.
No, I remember that. I remember that
I'll
part.
explain the
of Guru
rules
Ichi,
a
right?
bit later because, yeah, it seems that the guru is not here either. This is a problem.
I remember that part of Doidomishi when they were introducing you as my manager with me, and the announcer said from England, and you thought it meant you were from England.
Yeah.
Don't
Like,
you
I
see,
don't
the
think
guru
so.
is a pacifist, and the miners are just the evil guys
You
here.
know, just saying it's possible to be a pacifist but still fight.
Oh, no, don't worry. The guru knows his ways. Don't worry.
Oh,
You'll see
yeah.
later.
Tough to say.
Yeah, 'cause it's like pacifism just means you kill as a last resort. Like it
Un-
doesn't.
unless you're a character from Code Geass.
Why
Yeah,
do they
in
just
which-
kill
in which
everything
case-
or not at all?
Honestly,
In which
the
case you're a
morality,
moron.
the morality in Code Geass is skewed all over the place.
That's the thing, Shiroi. The guys in Code Geass keep pestering about how they're a peaceful group, but all they do is blow shit up.
And,
So it's
and
like
also,
David Cage's whole "no guns in my video games."
honestly, Pedro, I didn't get that they were pacifists. I got that they were morons.
I think it's
Well-
literally one. Okay, it has been a while since we covered
Well,
it, but
there's
I
no
distinctly
reason they can't be
remember-
both.
I
So-
distinctly remember there was one quote from Lelouch that where he said something like "Oh, we only want peace" or something. I don't remember. Gotta be honest. I don't really in a hurry to see season 2.
To give you an idea, that when me and Jove and Dwebs were doing our attempt that later got cancelled of commenting on season 2, by the time we finished watching episode 3, Jova was all like, "Wait, that's it? The episode is over?" Like, seriously, that moved. It looked like it moved. Even Jova also agrees with the fact that pacing of that show is way too fast.
Okay, basically, short for context, Code Geass, when the first season came out, people loved that anime. However, because the second season took, God, how long to come out?
A long time.
years.
Apparently a
2
very
years.
long... I feel like it was longer than that.
Anyway, hold on, time to actually meet the guru.
Or maybe it was season 3 that had the long one.
Yeah, it was season 3.
Friend of Murray's. He's come asking to be released from his training.
And yes, the guru speaks in this weird gibberish where it translates to the other character repeating what he just says, so you don't really need the subtitles for that. Let me see who actually is the voice actor. There you go, Terry Rose. Apparently, in early development, they actually had voice lines for the character, but midway through, they just thought it would have been a bit funnier if they actually had it like this.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
How is Sly able to understand him?
It's the same way Han Solo understands Wookiee Java.
Well, to be fair, Han apparently learned somewhere in that giant time skip after he received the name Han Solo.
Anyway, we need to find a way to free the Guru and thwart the evil miners.
The game's telling us they're evil, so clearly they are. I mean, come on.
They're damaging. Okay, look, I'm not a monster. I get it. Damaging, natural monuments just for the sake of profit, is not really a good thing to do. But the game essentially puts this conflict on a one-side note.
I suppose we could argue that they are technically holding the Guru hostage, according to
That is true.
plot.
That is actually true. And again, the game will showcase the fact that they're not exactly, friendly in nature. They are quickly. Also, don't worry, this is just nothing. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing will come of that later.
No, yeah, also reference to the will come with the Contessa. But anyway, so the game does the job in not trying to make them sympathetic. But again, on the other hand, it feels again if the conflict is mostly one-sided and it looks like Sly and the others were just trespassing someone's potential honest work. We don't seem to be illegally doing this. So
Well, okay, to be fair, it's sort of in the sense where when you get down to it, technically, the bad guys of Fern Gully weren't technically doing anything illegal, supposedly, but it was still villainous how they were doing it.
What you're talking about, Jova? The guys in Fern Gully did not have an Australian accent.
Oh.
Good place to start.
So, Tia, which one do you prefer more, Fern Gully or Fern Gully 2?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a thing that I don't think I ever told in all these years. There was a time when I was a kid where I saw I didn't think I saw properly. I hadn't seen Fern Gully 1 at that point, but I saw an ad with the cover of Fern Gully 2 VHS, and I actually did pester my parents in wanting that.
Yeah.
They didn't comply, and it's probably one of the best decisions they ever did, because a couple of years later I saw the movie and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, okay.
For all its faults, the first Fern Gully has some personality to it. I will concede that. The sequel is just dumb.
It's your typical direct-to-video animated sequel, basically.
Yeah.
It
Now
has some
officially
special
Disney.
qualities
Yay.
to it. Oh god, yeah, it is. It's like, hey, everyone who mistook the main character, well, at least by the first
Krista.
film standards, yeah. It's like how a lot of people mistook her for a Disney fairy, essentially.
I don't think Krista does really anything in the second movie. It's mostly just her fairy brother.
Not that she was ever interesting to begin with, anyway. So it's
True, but you'd
But
think
Pedro,
it's
she made
like in
trees
Secret.
grow.
It's like in Secret of Nimford 2, where they shift attention to one of the children, one of the children, while Miss Brisby's
not really the
spends
same
time on
thing
the
for me,
back.
Teo, considering Mrs. Brisby was actually interesting, unlike Krista.
Oh no, I know that, but it's kind of the same thought process, sadly.
When it comes to me and Fern Gully, I actually ended up seeing Fern Gully too, and because it was shown in class while I was in elementary school.
Oh
And
man,
here's the thing.
it was like PSA
I never-
involved.
No. Okay, thankfully. Oh god, actually, did they use that to try and teach us about the environment? Now that I think about it.
Java, you're speaking with the guy where they presented Patch Adams to teach how my job is supposed to do. So
Sure. For me, it's like
But yeah, okay. Here's the thing. I actually did not know that thing was a sequel because I hadn't seen the title proper of it, so I didn't know that that was a second thing to something, let alone a sequel to something that had Robin freaking Williams in it. Seriously. Of all the things to have Tim Curry and Robin Williams in together, it had to be Ferngully.
Alright, let's crack the safe. Basically, I forgot, I don't even explain it properly. You see this vibration on screen? That's the idea that you're doing the right going in the right direction, but at that point you need to turn. This is also signaled by the vibration of your controller. It probably is not as smooth as it is on the new DualSense, but I can tell you that it does the job at least on the DualShock 3.
Miners are smarter than they look. They booby-trapped the moonstone. It looks like a light-sensitive detonator. If I can get it outside and into the sunlight, it should power down.
How convenient. So what it translates to is get the fuck out of the cave as soon as possible.
They really don't want anyone else getting that stuff.
Yeah,
Someone
says
said that
get out of the cave quick.
So much so that they're willing to blow themselves up to Kingdom Come.
Sorry, gotta ignore you. But no, here's the thing, also, the thing that I mentioned. The Slice moveset now revolves in this. Square is the usual, normal attack. Now Triangle instead of being tied to the power-ups, is instead tied to a charging meter. Depending on how much power-ups you have, you can charge in 1, 2, or 3 times, and after that, pressing a corresponding button, square, X, or circle, will activate a specific type of move. Slice still has power-ups, but they're mostly assigned to the, to the lateral buttons, L1, L2, R1, and R2. There we go. So basically, now with the moonstone gathered, we only need the stick. Which is on another part of the mine. Now, if I recall correctly, if it's not in this mission, it's on another one. This is actually the level where, in the entire trilogy, original trilogy, mind you, where the frame rate actually drops from 60 to 30 or 40 at tops. But it's very inconsistent. It's really the only case in the original trilogy. This in time will have a bit of a skewed frame rate, a bit all over the place, but that's, again, all in due time.
Oh boy. I'll admit, I'm kind of looking forward to Thieves in Time for a multitude of reasons. For one thing, it does actually have a lot of good ideas here. Though I guess I'd be lying if I said that I'm mainly looking...
I will repeat it once again once we get to the game. I do believe it still actually has the best refined gameplay and the perfectly good evolution of the art style and the best soundtrack. So again, it really just needed a better writer. Yeah, there you go. See, this is the place where the frame rate for some reason starts dipping. I guess it might be the lighting source of the moonstone, but I don't know.
That's the thing. That's the weird thing too. Considering this is a PS3 remaster, you'd think Sanzara would have been able to fix this.
I dread to think what it looked like originally.
It didn't look. It looked about on par. We'll say that.
In terms of performance, mind you.
No, that's the thing. It kind of about on par from what I remember. I can tell you that. I guess I should be thankful that they didn't make it worse. I guess, but. At the same time,
there we go. I gotta be honest, I don't remember if in my first run on my own for the game I actually did encounter this kind of frame rate, so I don't know if it's a one-time case. But when I recorded, it actually did happen. So
I can tell. I can tell that it's never been Shadow of the Colossus PS2 level of bad. So.
Okay. I can imagine too.
Special about this staff.
It's a stick.
For a stick? These guys are paranoid. And from the sound of it, they've called in reinforcements. Nothing like a horde of angry dingoes to make things a bit more interesting.
That's Anyway, another case where you need to exit the cave in time. Only this time with a bit slowdown. But yeah, Jova, basically that's pretty much it when it came to Ferngully. I wanted the second movie on VHS, a thing we didn't get. But I actually saw the first movie on TV and I enjoyed it. The Italian dub doesn't do justice to stuff like Tim Curry singing a song about wanting to have sex with poison or pollution, whatever. And the rap for the bad character that normally will be Robin Williams is even worse than in the original, gotta be honest. But overall, it was still a fine experience. The sequel is just dumb. Sadly.
Ferngully you think is going to be your typical PSA schlock, and a lot of it is, but it does have a lot of that
There we
cool
go.
90s-isms to help it stand out here and there, and it does help that the voice acting is on point here and there. So, of course, the sequel
outside from the Australian accents.
So, of course, the sequel had to be the soulless cash grab that everyone feared the first one would be.
All right, there you go. First thing first, before actually freeing the guru, they asked to see Murray and Bentley separately to give his blessing.
What are you talking about? You used the aboriginal ball form to great effect back in Venice.
True.
Be proud of you.
Maybe, but I lost my temper and got in a fight with Octavio.
It was necessary, Murray. Don't worry. Yeah.
And besides, yeah, and you brought a criminal to justice as well.
Okay, Bentley. Caves ahoy!
Yay. Basically, since neither Bentley nor Murray have the agility of Zyme, we will need to take alternate routes in order to reach the guru.
Ugh. Seriously, that's I see the icon of the character still looks like a bed.
Well, again, it's the same as the second game.
Rocks to destroy those stalagmites. Of course, throwing guards will work too.
Bentley, you're a sadistic freak. Seriously. Remember, it's his suggestion. You know. By the way, as you can see, the kangaroo guards have babies with them. So when you're killing them, you're killing both.
I'm going to assume that
Peggy free for the PS2 version, folks. No, and by the way, Jova, in case you're wondering, oh, maybe you're just painting. Like I mentioned, like I hinted in one of the the previous game, there's a mission later on where you actually need to feed the guards to a crocodile. They're getting eaten alive. So no, Jova, they be dead.
Then, if I recall correctly, I think that one's done with Bentley.
No, Murray. You have to do that with Murray. You have to pick the guards in toss. Don't worry, you'll be able to see in due time. Boop.
Well, you know what? Shame on the mothers for bringing their kids to it. And yes,
maybe Jova again. Maybe this was just the bring your kid to work day for the minors.
Also, yes, bit of a PSA, kids, but only female kangaroos are the ones that have pouches in there. Even though a lot of media tends to like to suggest that both genders have that here and there.
What's the good of having fists if you can't smash steel doors with them?
That's one way of thinking.
Even for you. No, to get through, we'll have to overload the pressure in this piston.
You want me to punch it? I could do that.
Your aboriginal ball form to bounce on top of the piston and smash
Yep.
it down. Build up enough hydraulic pressure and the door is sure to open.
Piston, beware. You're about to be bounced.
Basically, it's the classic. Basically, it's the classic type of puzzle where the piston will go down if you don't bounce on it. I think for this first door, it's only one, but later on we will play a bit by having like multiple ones. You have to, jump on them in the correct order. Also, I wonder how the guards.
More.
I wonder how the guards normally activate these kind of things.
With a lot of force and willpower.
Just hope the guards hadn't eaten just
Boop.
before them.
They're literally screaming for help while you're holding them.
They'll be fine.
Sure, in the bottomless pit. Oops.
I like to believe that Murray.
Which is where Murray is.
Jova,
fine.
it's like in Spider-Man Shattered Dimension where, Madame Web teleports them safely every time you push them into a bottomless pit.
Because Spider-Man don't kill.
Of course. But if the enemy manages to, accidentally kill themselves, it's their fault.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. For this case, the piston will slowly rise up if you don't actually push them for a long time. So again, press them in sequence and you should be fine. Thankfully, you also don't need a big momentum to push these. 1, 2, and 3.
3.
Did it! 3 against 1, and I still took you piston chumps to school!
But you're trespassing.
That's besides the point.
Oh,
Look at the size of that guy!
of course they had to reference that. Crikey!
Was warning us about.
Mary, it's nothing. It's just a mask.
Make the wearer much larger.
Ah.
Too.
I can take him. My righteous quest to see the guru.
I'm sure that's not a setup for a boss fight whatsoever.
So it's just a mask. It's not really a compelling character.
The door through has an
Right.
whole area runs
So basically, what you need to do is that, okay, while being controlled by the mask, this enemy is invincible technically, but you can actually still smack it around, meaning that you can just grab him and then toss it into the moving drills, so you can actually destroy them and unlock the door.
Oh look, the baby grew as well, even though it's not wearing a mask. How do you even do with a mask like that out here anyway?
It's supposedly it's what the guru said, the mask of the evil earth. Apparently, Uka Uka Jova, that's what it is.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess it follows in with the lore of Crash Bandicoot with masks of good and evil hanging out in Australia.
just one left.
And there we go. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's alive too.
Again, don't worry. It's nothing. We'll not really see it again.
Now that the
I'm sure. It's only just a sentient mask.
It's no real consequence. Alright, time to see the... There you go. And thanks to that, Bentley will be able to reach the guru in an easier fashion.
Good thinking.
I have returned, my master. The black water now runs clear. I'd like to. I am asking. Oh man.
Come on.
Yeah. I want to join back up with my friends, and we're hoping you'd come along too. You'd love it in the gang. We have all kinds of fun.
Yes. At that time we nearly died and my friend's legs got broken.
Miners,
Yeah, so trauma is fun.
dark earth. Yeah.
Yeah, the leader had his family killed right in front of his very eyes and took vengeance on the guy
Thanks, Guru.
who killed his
I'm happy to
dad.
see you too.
Basically,
That went well.
the gist is simple. The guru will help, but only after we deal with the miners, which is, understandable on his point of view. But before doing that, before actually having Bentley meet him, let's use Very to do another, mission that we can use we can use this vehicle in order to catch something that can port away the miners.
Truck I've ever gone to drive.
That is a big truck, actually.
Houses with this baby.
To be fair, Australia is known for having these giant, vehicle titled drilling equipment.
It makes sense. Nobody really wants to get out in a place as dangerous as Australia.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: this vehicle is particularly agile, as you will see.
Yeehaw! Oh, the music went a bit Crash Bandicoot, I see. Again, taking place in Australia, so fitting.
I have an idea of how we might drive the miners out of Ayers Rock.
Does it involve killing them, Bentley?
It's more like pestering them with giant scorpions.
Okay, Bentley, you've got my interest.
So killing them,
Looks
right,
like
got
we may
it.
have to take care of
In a
it
different
tomorrow
way.
if we're gonna get at those drill controls.
Defeat the guards and start the drill. Then Murray can begin
Well, at
paying
least
by
the kangaroos gave their kids helmets, at least.
That's very reassuring.
Totally.
There we go. Alright, let's try to start the contraption.
Yeah, trauma's fun. Well, Jova, at least it's not a complete sincere thing like in Preference Ref, where they literally have an entire joke about Fang and Aaron emotionally abusing Tiara during the evil goddess. Sorry, the vile
Yeah,
god
but
route.
doesn't Zero like that?
No. Remember. What happened was, remember, Tiara had returned back from her Kaine imitation personality, and
Because she was pestered
and
by
they,
that.
and,
Remember, Jova,
and then they kept pushing her and calling her names and provoking her to make, and Fang literally goes, and I quote, "Nice, let's keep pushing her." And I even turned to Teo and said, "Emotional abuse is fun, isn't it, Teo?" And Teo was all miserable as he was throughout that entire playthrough.
Again,
I
Joe, remember
Teo being miserable
her
during
her kink about loving being insulted only comes after that. Well, for that specific route.
Well, technically that was always a thing.
Again,
about
Jova, for that specific route. Remember the timeline reset and everything. Anyway, let me explain this.
That was the thing across all 3 routes. I recall that one.
No, it is, but for the Valcode route, you kind of need to unlock it, because remember, when the timeline resets, her memory actually gets wiped for that one. Anyway, for this thing, apparently this truck can actually do backflips, as you will see in a second. And you need to use that to catch red scorpions. However, this part of it, yeah, you can do that. And don't worry, you don't actually get flipped. There you go, you can actually do that. And apparently you don't even crush the scorpions, you're actually catching them. However, this part of the desert is very scorching, meaning... Yeah, let's move on. Meaning that your tires might, get to overheat. Meaning that you need to use the pool of water or catch crush blue scorpions in order to actually store that. It's a pretty interesting, neat kind of challenge. The controls of the truck are a bit, wood. But it makes sense for this type of giant vehicle. There we go.
So what's this track from?
The desert theme from Nier Automata.
Yep.
Why not? The desert and all.
Desert? Oh no.
Lives, Australia is like 90% desert.
I know, but I still don't like desert.
True, Lives, but again, it's a bit late to notice. We've been here for a while.
Don't you see, Teo, Dubs doesn't like sand. It just gets everywhere.
It's rough, coarse, irritating, and gets everywhere.
Okay.
I'm guessing Dubs. That's why I'm guessing Dubs. That's the one big, thing. The way you relate to Anakin Skywalker, probably.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, he's not wrong. Sand has an incredibly annoying knack for
yes, Joe,
somehow
but
getting
it's another
in.
example. It's another example of a good type of characterization, completely buffed by the fact that George Lucas doesn't know how to write dialogue.
It's more so the way he words it, not so much the concept
Well,
itself.
again, to be fair, and I know what you're gonna say, George Lucas was the main guy, but there was another guy writing the screenplay as well.
But anyway, it's a topic for another time. The point is that you managed to steer more scorpions up, but the consequence is that the well is dried. So if you want, if you're gonna need still to cool out the tires, but your only resource will be actually crushing the blue scorpions now, and they're not as effective. So basically, for the last portion, you need to be on your toes. Also, Dweebs, in regards to Australia being 90% of desert, one of the best kind of jokes and out there jokes that Internet Historian did during one of his in the field videos, is the fact that he's from Australia, mind you, and he suggested that the Australian government should found like something similar to the Suez Canal, only in a more elaborate way that essentially creates a giant lake in the middle of Australia that is connected to the ocean through two canals, only to fill in the canyon. And he thinks that the only thing that will stop that was because there are endangered species in between.
Brilliant.
Again, to be honest, the most I know about Australia are the soap operas.
Not even the documentaries.
No.
Also, the tire was glitching.
The most I know about Australia is what I've seen in Crocodile Dundee. So.
Giant scorpions? Run for it, mates!
Of course. Dead.
Well, the scorpion killed him. We didn't. It was the scorpion.
Yes, it was scorpions.
What the scorpions did, we dare not recite.
Now it's time for Bentley to meet the guru, and for him to actually get free, as you will see in a second.
Something I've noticed about, characters saying, oh, this guy will be pleased, and then he comes to the next scene and he's like, you idiots!
It's a cosmesh cut.
Or a Gilligan cut.
Bentley, you can do that without sounding like this. Yeah, there you go.
You can transform yourself. Why, once you change
Yeah, basically, you know that spell in Dark Souls that allow you to blend with the environment? This essentially is a beta testing of that, as you will see in a second.
Too true. Wait, here comes a guard.
Alright, now it's time to take control of the Guru, your first major playable character aside from Carmelita and the gang. The controls are pretty simple. The Guru doesn't really have a mean of attack on his own. You can hold Alt L1 to disappear, like this. And after that, you can sneak behind an enemy and literally possess them and mind control them. Bash their skulls into objects. Pacifism, yay! So yeah, that's pretty much the main gimmick when you are created to play as the Guru. Take controls of guards and wild animals, and actually use them to bash into objects or destroy them. It's a pretty interesting, neat type of gameplay change, especially for something. It's something completely new that the trilogy hasn't done until this point.
And it's not the last new gameplay style.
No, again, each episode introduces a new member for the gang, which will have a separate control scheme in terms of sequences.
Like, that's the thing about this game. Like, it packs a lot into what was essentially going to be the last game of the series. So
Again,
I do wonder how much better it might have been if it didn't get rushed.
It's the thought process is similar to the fact that Gears 3 gives control a bit to Cole to have a bit of his backstory and a bit of portion where you play as him. It's a bit similar to Gears Judgment, where it allows you to play each section with one of the team members of Bird.
Well, that's the thing. The idea was for they literally call it Barrett's Testament. Testimony calls testimony, all that stuff. The problem is they don't really tell us much of anything. They're just excuses for levels.
True, and again, the way Gears is constructed, the characters pretty much show the clones of each other, meaning that there's not much difference in gameplay style.
No. The difference was supposed to be their characters and personalities.
Yeah, the problem is the original trilogy was the one that really got that right.
Hey, surely they'd get things better with Gears 5.
No.
Nope.
Well, I can tell that the DLC campaign is a bit better, if anything, because it's not insufferable, but it's not exactly good either. It's just kind of
For something that took as long as the DLC campaign for 5 apparently took, you would hope. It would
No,
be,
I actually didn't, Jova. The development started only a bit before it was actually released because the coalition
That's-
actually first did a poll asking the players actually what they wanted for a DLC. Then they waited for the result, decided what to do with it, and then started officially.
That's sort of my point, though. It's like, I mean, that DLC campaign did relatively take quite a bit of time after the game initially released.
Well, exactly a year, basically. Well, okay, a little more than a year, like, because the original game came out in September 2019, and the DLC came out in December 2020. So basically,
And in between,
year.
they mostly focused on the updates for the multiplayer.
Yeah, which is interesting. The fact that which is interesting because the multiplayer is still in a place in a state that it doesn't that it shouldn't be by this point, according to the Gears veterans that I follow.
Goody. So the DLC campaign. Dare I ask if it's good?
It's not.
He already told you on that, Jova.
Well, it's not. Well, let me put it that this, Jova. Like it tries to have. Oh, hold on.
Also, I just love the touch that the guru doesn't have a binocular comm, but instead he's using his crystal ball.
Provided you can jump a few guards over there and ram it.
Bentley always has the nicest suggestions.
Let me put it this way, Jova. They tried to do something a bit more simple. Just these 4 people. Well, 3 people more like. These 3 people that don't really know each other from anywhere, and they're starting fresh. Much like the Delta Squad in Gears 1. Except for Colin, sorry, except for Dom and Marcus, who already knew each other before even Gears 1. But the problem, Joe, is that because of the length of the DLC, the plot has to be rushed, and as a result, we cannot actually have them bond and become a strong team by character development.
Much like the DLC of Gears 3.
I was actually wondering, like, so how is it connected to the plot of Gears 5, if at all?
It's not connected at all. It's a completely irrelevant story to Gears 5, Jova. It's a completely different team.
Because Jova, it's tied to the comic, like we are told, it's tied to the comic line High Busters. Apparently, from what people told me, it's kind of an origin story of the team.
Yes, it's basically their origin story.
And it's actually written by the author of the comic line, so at least there's consistency on that front.
And you're telling me that DLC was based off of a poll of what fans wanted? I
get the thought process, Jova. Most people who cared about Gears 5 probably were also reading the comic line, so that basically the thought process was that we want to see the comic line actually in the game.
I guess.
I also like to imagine, though, that one of the choices was continuing the story with the characters, and considering how people generally do not like you-know-who and her band of misfits, per se, and their own story here, I can only imagine that, they chose, let's go with this new cast of characters over the main characters of Gears 5 because we can't really stand them.
Anyway, see you for the next part where we finish dismantling the evil miners' operations. And we're totally not gonna see again the Mask of the Evil Earth. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.